A very good evening to all the students of class 10. Today, we are going to study and see very briefly the chapter called Origin and Evolution of Life. So students, let me start this session with my presentation. Today, we are going to deal with biology and science, that is origin and evolution of life, as I said. Let me introduce you to the very important definition called as evolution. What it is? Actually, it is a change in the physical characteristic of species from generations to generations. It depends on two things, that is process of natural selection and sometimes genetic drift. The theory of evolution is based on the idea that all species are related and progressively changes over the time. Now, because of this theory of evolution, we have special creation theory. This idea says that life on earth is a divine creation and also attributes to a supernatural event at a particular time in the past. Then we have abiogenesis, that is spontaneous generation. According to this theory, life originated spontaneously from lifeless matters. Like it is believed that fishes originated from mud, frogs from moist soil, and insects from decaying matter. We have biogenesis. It was speculated by Louis Pasteur in the year 1862 that life originates from pre-existing life. He showed that pre-sterilized flasks kept closed airtight with killed yeast did not give rise to any life form, while in another flask he kept open to air living organisms formed on from killed yeast. Then we have cosmic origin. Some scientists still believe that life came from outer space. This states a unit of life called spores, that is panspermia, were transferred to different planets, including these spores were transferred to Earth. This is an idea of actually astronomers. Then we have, in this theory of evolution, we have chemical evolution of life. This idea was developed by Operin in 1922 and Haldane in 1929. What they proposed is the conditions prevailing on Earth, because it is due to a sequential chemical reactions. The first form of life could have come from non-living inorganic molecules, which gave rise to formation of different organic molecules, which transformed itself into colloidal system, and from there on to produce life. The modern concept on chemical revolution. These are the theories of evolution I have glanced you students. Evolution relies on genetic variation in a population, which affects the physical characteristics of an organism. Means certain physical characteristics may give advantage to individuals, which is transferred to their offspring from one generation to the other generation. The evidence of evolution is one of the fundamental landmark in modern biological theory. It is the only way we can prove all these theories of evolution. Hence, we have number of evidences to prove the biological evolution, namely fossils. Then we have comparative anatomy. In comparative anatomy, we have analogous and homologous. Then we have embryo development pattern. Now, students, let us see one by one the evidences of evolution. Fossils. What does this actually fossils is? If you see the pictures, in picture it is shown that evidence of evolution fossils, they are the plants, they can be animals, they can serve as an evidence for evolution. Scientists use fossils to find similarities between the ancient and ancestral species and the ones which are living today. The location on for how deep the underground they were, how the reproduction used to take place, how they used to survive. This each and every detail used to be studied by the scientist. We expect an ancestral species to share common genes, means to say a common characteristic between ancestral species and a modern species. They are the remains of non-degraded parts of living beings found within the rock. Where they are found? They are found within the rock. This layer from which fossil is recovered decide the age of fossils. How many years old? The fossils found in deeper down are older compared to the new ones found in upper layers. They give an idea of the condition of Earth and that specific era, in which era these animals and plants were living that time. The animals were living. This type of study of fossils is called as paleontology. Thus, fossils are called as paleontological evidences. Leonardo da Vinci is the father of paleontology. The best example we can give is Archaeopteryx. It is the oldest known fossil bird which was found in Jurassic period. It is considered to be a link between reptile and a bird. It has wings with feathers like a bird. It had a long tail, clawed digits, and conical teeth like reptiles. So this is one of the evidences of fossils. The second type of evidence of evolution is comparative anatomy. What is this comparative anatomy? It explains that many organisms have same ancestor and many different organisms evolved as a result of two things, as I said before, genetic drift or natural selection. Two types of comparative anatomy we observed, that is homologous organs, analogous organs. Now before that, let us see a small definitions of natural selection and genetic drift. Natural selection is nothing but it is a very important mechanism of evolution. It ensures that the traits that help a species survive, reproduce, get passed on to the same traits from one generation to the future generation. That is, survival of fittest is very important in natural selection. Natural selection is survival of fittest on larger scale. It involves entire population. Where genetic drift is founder's effect is there in genetic drift. What is that? When a portion of original population breaks off from the original and they form a new population, the new population decreases variability because the small group may be not equally representative of large groups. This is called the genetic drift. You can see in the picture in the yellow insect, you can see there red and yellow, and in the genetic drift, that is the new population is completely red. So comparative anatomy is very important factor in this. Let us see the comparative factors. Comparative anatomy. The first one is homologous organs. These organs, please students listen carefully. These organs, they have same structure in different organisms, but they perform different functions. I repeat, these organs have the same, that is similar structure in different organisms, but perform different functions. It clearly shows a common ancestry. One species gave rise to many other species. This type of evolution is called as divergent evolution. For example, in the picture, you can see the limbs of human, cat, horse, bat, dolphin. They all have different functions, but have a same, that is similar structure, indicating that we are all from common ancestors. This is homologous organs. Then we have analogous organs. These organs have different anatomy, but perform similar functions. This picture, you can see there, a parrot, that is bird, and insect. See the wings, they're entirely different, but the function is same. Again, I repeat, these organs have different anatomy, but perform similar functions. This shows that different species evolved, but they are totally, these birds and insects, they are adapted to a particular environment. This type of evolution is called as convergent evolution. Example, we can see the wings of different birds and bats or insects. The wings of birds have feathers for flight, whereas bats have made in a straight skin or lack of feathers. But both serve the common function called flight. Now, let us move on after the comparative anatomy evidence. The next video, you will be watching and learning evidences from embryology. Please watch our educational videos, like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Take care and have a pleasant evening.